everyone, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur and digital marketing consultant. And in this Google Tag Manager tutorial for 2018, we're going to be going through everything you need to know about getting Google Tag Manager set up, running correctly on your site, and the first 3 tags I recommend installing. So if at any point you find the tutorial going too slow, or you have a specific question and you don't really need to go over the basics, you want to skip ahead, in the description there's a comprehensive table of contents so you can skip around the video, jump straight to the tutorial part of this mini master course that you need. Also, if you find this tutorial going way too slow, or you find that you know a lot of what's being talked about and you just want a faster tutorial, there's a link in the description to a much more condensed tutorial where I just rapid fire go through this process. So if you're already familiar with the Google Analytics Suite products, then I recommend checking out that tutorial. This one is for beginners, so we are going to be going nice and slow, step by step. And the very first step is, of course, to set up your account. So you're going to just go to Google, type in Google Tag Manager. You're going to get to a page that looks something like this, because they're always split testing their own landing pages, and you're going to go ahead and click sign up for free. Now, if you have a Google Apps for Business account that you personally own and you're setting up for, your own company, then go ahead and use that account. Definitely don't use a Google Apps for Business account that you don't personally own, which pretty much just means don't use your company account to do this. Use your own personal or your own personal business one. So I've had some people screw up on that. Not fun at all. So once you have that set up, you're going to get to a page that looks something like this, obviously without all of this blurring out. So what you're going to do is come up here and create account. And you'll go ahead and name your account your company. Now, your account is kind of like the big folder, and then all of your sub websites will be underneath that. So if you're using a page builder like Lead Pages or OptimizePress or ClickFunnels, and you have a different WordPress theme that you're using for your main site, this is where you're going to want to store all of those different things, especially if you're using different domains. And so here we're just going to put our company name and go ahead and click continue. And then here's where you're going to put your actual site. And you don't have to put the exact URL. I just like putting the name of the site. So we'll put web, and then we'll go ahead and click create. And once you click create, you're going to get a page that looks like this. And so this is your actual tracking code that you're going to put on your site. And what's really cool about Google Tag Manager is you put this code on your site, and then you never have to worry about figuring out how to put codes on your sites again. Now, if you're using a page builder like Lead Pages or ClickFunnels or Builderall, you're most likely going to have to make sure that you put this code on every single funnel that you set up inside of ClickFunnels, or every single page individually that you make in something like Lead Pages or Unbounce or HubSpot or whatever, whatever you're using. So it's really important to note that when we go through the WordPress part of this tutorial, it's going to be a one and done. But when you're going through doing this for page builders, most page builders won't put this across all of the pages that you make. So you want to make sure that you know whether or not you have to add this manually to each page you set up inside of your page builder. So what that means practically is if, like, let's say, for example, you're in Lead Pages or ClickFunnels and you create a landing page and a confirmation page, both of those softwares, you will probably need to make sure that you put this tracking code on both of those pages individually. Actually, I think ClickFunnels does allow you to have one code per the entire funnel, but definitely just be careful with the page builders. Always triple check to make sure the code is on there. I've had so many clients have issues with that. So with that warning out of the way, we're going to go ahead and select the header part, and I'm going to head over to WordPress. If you're doing this for a page builder, go ahead, check out the description for the table of contents where you can skip ahead. So I'm going to head on over to my WordPress dashboard. For this example, I'm going to be using OptimizePress and Thrive themes. And what you're going to want to do inside of WordPress is go to your theme settings, go to your theme dashboard, and then look for something that says analytics, tracking, scripts, custom codes, or header tag or body tag or footer tags. So you're just looking for something that will allow you to put the tags in the proper place. In OptimizePress, it's analytics and tracking. In Thrive themes, it's analytics and scripts. And so you can see these two themes are very similar, but that's because they're really focused on marketing. Personally, I like OptimizePress. But here we go. So the first part of what we're going to do is we're going to want to put the first code that we got from Tag Manager into the header tag. So we're going to go ahead, if there's anything in here, you can go ahead and scroll down to the bottom, click 1, 2, and then go ahead and paste that. It'll automatically take off the space. and then I'll do the same in Thrive Themes. So you can see here, you can see there's already a Google Tag Manager thing. I'm just going to do this for the sake of the tutorial here, and then we'll go back and we'll click and copy all of the body tag stuff. And we'll come in here, and what we want is write the code. You'll notice that it's opening of the body tag. So not all themes will actually give you the option of having something that's the opening of the body tag. You'll notice here OptimizePress just has body tag, whereas Thrive Themes actually has opening body script. So it will work whether you do the opening body script or the body tag. You'll see here Thrive Themes has both. OptimizePress only has one. It will work in both instances though. So Thrive Themes just is a little more up to date with how tracking codes are being managed. But if you don't have the opening body tag, you can definitely use the body tag. So for Thrive Themes, we're going to go ahead and paste it in the opening part of the body tag. For OptimizePress, we're going to go ahead and just place it in the body tag, and we come down here and click Save Settings. We come down here and click Save All Changes. So now we want to make sure that it is actually on the site and things are working correctly. So what we're going to want to do is head over to Google and type in Tag Assistant, and you're going to be looking for this in the Chrome store. It's important that you do a lot of this stuff in Google Chrome because it's just going to be easier to make sure that everything's working correctly. So you'll go to Tag Assistant by Google, and you'll go ahead and add it to Chrome. And once you do, you'll have a little symbol that looks like this, and when you click on it, you'll be able to see all of the tags that are on your site. So once you have installed this, we're going to go back over to, and I'm actually going to backtrack a quick second here. I realized I forgot to show you what it looks like inside of a page builder. So if you're using, I'm using Squarespace as an example, but essentially in your page builder, you want to go to your settings, then you want to go to advanced, or you're also going to look for scripts, tracking codes, custom codes. In Squarespace, it's code injection, and you'll see here that they have the different boxes for you to insert the code. Okay, so with that, it's time to actually make sure that the tag's working correctly. So once you've done all these changes, you're going to go ahead and click Submit, and it's going to ask you to name what you've done. So for this particular instance, I'll just say first tag install, and then make a little, you can make a little note of what you did, or you don't really need to, but it's really nice because Tag Manager will actually have a history of everything you did. So in case something breaks in the future, you can go back and easily see, okay, this is where I made this change, or this is where I made that change. So I like making one change per essentially update. So it's really easy to go back and remove a bad change. So here I'm just going to say first install of Tag Manager on the site, and I'm going to go ahead and click Publish. And it'll go through this little thing, and then it will give you a little summary of everything that was changed, and we can go ahead and click back to the workspace, and now we can go to our site to make sure that the tags are actually installed. And once you're on your site, you're going to come up to the Tag Assistant that you installed and go ahead and click Enable. And then you're going to refresh the page, and now the Tag Assistant will show you all of the tags that are on your site. Now, this particular example, there's going to be quite a few tags on here, but what you want to look for is Google Tag Manager, and you want it to be green. If it's red, that means something's wrong. You can see the remarketing tag's red, so you can come in here and it will tell you what the error is. If this makes no sense to you, which it probably won't because there are these weird error codes, you can always head over to Google, just verbatim type in, copy paste what this says, and you'll be able to find forms or links to what exactly went wrong. It's a very, very fast and easy way to troubleshoot. In this particular instance, Tag Manager has been installed correctly, and you have Tag Manager on your site. And so that really concludes the first part of this tutorial, which is making sure Tag Manager is correctly installed on your site. Now, there's one other way to check to make sure Tag Manager is properly working on your site. And again, table of contents, if you want to skip ahead to a different section where we're going to talk about how to actually add different tracking codes using Google Tag Manager. We're going to be doing analytics, Facebook, and then AdWords. So to enter preview mode, you're going to go back to Tag Manager, and what you're going to want to do is hit preview. Now, once in preview mode, what you're going to want to do is go back to your website and hit refresh. And when you do, again, we're doing everything in this tutorial in Chrome, you're going to have this little box that pops up at the bottom that shows you all of the tags that fired on the page you're looking at and the tags that didn't fire on the page that you're looking at. So this is kind of like a deeper dive than Tag Manager, the Tag Assistant, because the Tag Assistant plugin just makes sure that the tags are there and they're kind of working correctly. Whereas this gives you a complete view of everything, including your Facebook things as well, which is really cool because Facebook does have a plugin for Chrome, just like Tag Assistant. But what's really nice about the preview mode is the preview mode gets all of your tags looking in one place, and you can easily navigate through your site to see what tags are firing where. And of course, that will be in another more advanced tutorial. You can check out the description to the playlist for that. But this is a really, really powerful tool, and this is really where Tag Manager shines in terms of making sure that everything is organized and you can see what's firing, what's not, what's being triggered, what's not being triggered, and it's just a really, really great and easy way to stay organized and make sure every tag is working correctly. So with that, that is all there is to it, to adding the tag to your site and using Tag Assistant and Preview to make sure that Tag Manager is correctly installed on your site. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through Google Analytics, the Facebook tracking pixel, and AdWords. So even if you're not doing any Facebook ads or you're not doing any, Google ads via AdWords, it's important to add these pixels and tags now, because what it'll do is it will create remarketing lists for you in the background. So if you ever want to run ads in the future, you already have all of that data collecting. And if you are one of those people who go and think you're never ever going to advertise on Facebook, well, adding the Facebook pixel is really great and powerful, because with Facebook building out their new analytics, you're going to be able to get a lot of insights into the types of people that are showing up on your site and how they relate in terms of Facebook's audience. So even if you don't want to pay Facebook for ads, you will get some great insights into your audience and the type of web traffic, which is a great complement to Google Analytics. But definitely, as of the recording of this tutorial, Google Analytics is still the winner. But if Facebook gets better in the future, it won't hurt to already have all of that data collected on your behalf pretty much for free. So what we'll do is we'll go through each one of these. Again, table of contents if you want to skip around. So with that, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at each one of these tag installations. The first tag we're going to set up is Google Analytics. So we're going to go and click on Add Tag, and we'll click to configure tag configuration. So setting up AdWords and Analytics is pretty straightforward. So we'll go ahead and click on Analytics, and it will load in a second. Be sure to check out the channel because we've got a playlist going on everything Google Analytics. So we're going to come over here to Google Analytics, and you're going to go to your settings. You're going to click on settings, and then you're going to choose the web property that you want to be, that is associated with this site, and you'll click on property settings. And in property settings, you'll scroll down and you'll be able to copy and paste your tracking ID. So you'll copy your tracking ID and you'll paste it right into the web property ID, and then we can come down here and click on triggering. I'm going fast on purpose. And then we click all pages. All pages will be there for you, and you'll go ahead and click save, and then it will ask you, what do you want to name the tag? That's why I didn't click on title, because classic Google Analytics, that's perfect. Save, everybody's going to know what that is. And now that you've set up the tag, before you hit submit to make the changes live, we want to make sure that everything is working the way it should. So we're going to go ahead and hit preview, and this is going to bring up a preview debugging mode for you. And so what you'll do is, once it's loaded, it's saying now preview, go to the website that you've installed the tag on and refresh the page. When you refresh the page, you're going to get this nice little thing down here, and then you can see tags fired on this page, classic analytics, Google Analytics fired one time. Perfect. That means Google Analytics is working. It's saying it's firing when the page starts, and you are good to go. Whoops. And now you can leave preview mode and you can hit submit. So when you hit submit, that means the changes have gone live. So once you have Google Analytics installed, you've gone through the Tag Assistant and Preview mode to make sure Google Analytics is on your site correctly and it's firing correctly inside of Tag Manager, you're ready for the Facebook pixel. So now what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the process of adding the Facebook pixel to your Tag Manager. And of course, because you use Tag Manager for your WordPress site or your landing page builder, this process is going to be the same for both of those cases. So let's go ahead, dive in to how to get the pixel onto your site. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to the Facebook Ads Manager to make our pixel. So I'm here in a new ads account. I'm gonna click on pixels in the menu and come down here to the giant green button, set up new pixel. And even though there's an integration with Tag Manager, you can actually go ahead and click this and Facebook and Tag Manager will talk to each other and set it up. We don't wanna do that because we actually want control over what we're tracking and specifically the types of conversions we're gonna be setting up. So we're actually gonna go ahead and click manual and scroll down a little bit here to copy the entire pixel code. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the code. I'm gonna go over to Google Tag Manager and we're gonna click on add new tag. I'm gonna name the tag and we're just gonna name this FB and what is it? It's their pixel. And where's it gonna go? All pages. And then we'll come over here to tag configuration and we're actually gonna choose custom HTML and then we're gonna go ahead and paste it in here. And there are two things we need to do with this code. First, we're going to go over to this text note and I'm gonna pull in this line of code right here. The code will be in the description and this will make a whole lot more sense in a little bit here. And I'm gonna come down right where it says FBQ track page view. I'm gonna come to the end of that line, hit enter and just insert that line right there. And then at the end of this script, I'm actually gonna take out this last couple of lines right here. So I'm going really slow so you can see exactly what I am selecting. And I'm gonna go ahead and delete that because you don't need it when you're using Google Tag Manager. And now the code itself is ready to go. So we're gonna come down here to triggering and we're gonna select all pages. Now, when you make conversions in the future, you'll be making some custom triggers. That's a little advanced. We'll get to that towards the end of this video. And so once you have this, you are ready to go and you're gonna go ahead and click save. And so once we've saved the changes, there's one more thing we need to do before we can hit preview and make sure everything's working correctly. Remember that special piece of code I asked you to add to the Facebook pixel? Well, it contains some variables. So we're gonna click over here on variables and we're going to configure. And we're going to select container ID and HTML ID, and we're going to just go ahead and click off, and there you go, it's working correctly. So we're gonna go back to overview, and now we can preview. And essentially that special piece of code is going to allow us to easily add multiple different types of conversion tracking in the future. And so we're gonna go ahead and hit preview now, and once the page loads and you've got this nice little orange notification box, you can go over to your website, hit refresh. Now it's important that you're doing this in Chrome, and this little box will pop up at the bottom of your site, and you can see here the Facebook pixel all pages has fired. It's telling us that it's working correctly. Now, in addition to this, there's actually a Chrome plugin that we'll use once we've published. So we see here it fired one time, so that means it's working. So I'm going to go back to Tag Manager. I'm going to leave preview mode, and then I'm going to go ahead and submit the changes. So when you submit the changes, you can just go ahead and name your change and say what you did. And once you've made your notes, you can go ahead and hit publish. All right, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're still with me. So that's 2 down, 1 more to go, the Google Remarketing tag. If you haven't set up an AdWords account, you can go ahead and just type in Google AdWords into Google and you'll go ahead and be able to set up an account for free. It might ask you to enter your credit card information, but don't worry, you don't have to actually start a campaign. When you go through the setup process, you can just go ahead and pause the campaign as soon as you create the account. And with that, I'm going to walk you through now how to navigate the new Google AdWords interface to find where the shared library is and then ultimately get that tag and add it to your Google Tag Manager. So home stretch, go ahead and hit that like button if you're still with me. Let's go ahead, dive into that, and then we will wrap things up. Now, if you're in the new interface of AdWords, it's actually ridiculously confusing to find your tag. So what I recommend doing is coming up here, you're going to go to Audience Manager, whether you have or have not already set up your remarketing tag. And once you're on this page, you're going to go ahead and click on Return to Previous AdWords Interface here. So once you've done that, you're going to come up to a page that looks something like this. And if you haven't set up your remarketing tag, you're going to see a little box over here, and you're going to see a button that says Set Up Tag. So once you're on this page, you're going to go ahead and hit Set Up Remarketing. You can send it to someone if someone else is going to install it for you. I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck that, click Continue, and now your remarketing tag has been made. So you can go ahead and return to Audiences. So now that you've set up your tag, it's time to put it on your site. So you're going to go ahead and click tag details. You're going to copy and paste all of the tag and you're going to put it into a Word doc or a note. And I encourage you to just save it in a safe place. Now, because we're using Google Tag Manager, all we need to do is copy this little blurred out number, and that's all we're going to need to implement this using Google Tag Manager. So I'm going to go back to my browser here. So I'm going to go to Tag Manager now. I'm going to select my container or site that I'm doing this for, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Add New Tag. Now, once here, we're going to name the tag. I'm just going to name it AdWords. I'm going to put the number 2 there so I know I'm doing this for the tutorial. And then we're just going to go ahead and click on, I clicked on tag configuration, then I clicked on AdWords Remarketing. And all we have to do is drop in that conversion ID that we copied in from our remarketing tag code. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there and then scroll down to triggering. Now, we're not going to get super complicated with triggering here. All we're going to do is select all pages. And this is because for remarketing tags, unlike conversion tags, we want this to fire on every single page. Or other tags, you're going to want to fire it on specific pages or when someone particularly clicks a button, but that's for another day. So we're going to go ahead and hit save, and it's time to preview our changes. We want to make sure that we set this up correctly. So you can go ahead and hit preview. And so once you've hit preview, you're going to see this message. Now you're in previewing workspace. So you're going to go to your website, you're going to hit refresh, and of course, make sure you're doing this in Chrome. And you're going to have this little preview down here that shows you all of the tags that are firing. So you can see AdWords _ remarketing 2. That's telling us that it's firing correctly. So I'm going to go back to Tag Manager and I'm going to go ahead and submit. So I'm going to go ahead and publish these changes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit publish. And that's all there is to it, to setting up Google Tag Manager and getting your first 2 tags and your 1 pixel installed correctly on your site. So if you got some value out of this video, go ahead and hit that like button and then subscribe, because over on my channel, I'm documenting the entire process. I'm putting an online business together from scratch. And of course, making sure your web analytics and your tracking codes are in place and working and firing correctly and organized is just a small little part of the bigger process of being successful with your digital marketing efforts. So if you have any questions on Google Tag Manager, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below. Make sure you check out that table of contents and links to other Tag Manager playlists if you want to get more advanced. And I just want to say, way to go for sticking with me through this entire tutorial. I know it's been a really long one, but I wanted to have a complete slow beginner's guide for 2018 on how to be effective and successful with Google Tag Manager. So go ahead, comment below, hit that like button, subscribe, and of course, keep building the business you love. Take care.